morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and my voice is a bit better now, and that's a good thing, because I've got an awful lot of excitement to go around. You see, there are a bunch of new products coming, and yes, I know I only showed you yesterday a video with a bunch of new products. I'm sorry, out of control when the news comes out. I just come and explain it to you when it does, because you see, it turns out the Pokemon have decided they want to basically just give us the best Pokemon as promo cards. Oh. Yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good. Now, quick side note before we get going here. No, it doesn't include Dedenne. I honestly don't think Dedenne is quite in the same category as, say, Tapu Lele or Shaymin. Although, shout out to the time we ended up getting a promo Tapu Lele. That was pretty gosh darn good. It is in a fairly expensive box towards the end of its life cycle, but that's not the point. We got one. Well, it turns out we're getting a bunch of really cool promos, including Zacian V. And I think, as we stand at the moment, it is extremely fair to say that Zacian V is the best card in the game right now. I don't think that's an exaggeration. I think as far as it goes, the best attacking Pokemon in the game right now is Zacian V. I mean, if we go and have a look at the Oceania International Championships from a couple of weeks ago, almost half of the top cut was Zacian decks. This is a phenomenal card. How are we getting it? It's coming in tins. The lovely Matthew Varive at Immunity over on Twitter has gone and hooked us up with some sell sheets. And essentially, we are getting tins featuring Zacian and Zamazenta. A Gala legend with steely resolve. Nothing else in Gala comes close to the strength of a legend. Choose a brave blade of Zacian V or the dauntless shield of Zamazenta V in the Pokemon trading card game Legends of Gala tin. Each of these fantastic tins contains a super-powered Pokemon V with the moves to cut, guard, and triumph in your next Pokemon battle. So you get one of two foil Pokemon V, Zacian or Zamazenta, 5 booster packs, and a code card. And one thing that should immediately strike you as odd there, 5 booster packs. Tins come with 4 boosters. So that's kind of interesting. Now, of course, they now retail for $25, which I believe is a slight increase as well, but that's all right, that's all right. 5 boosters is good. The biggest issue here is going to be that the Zacian V tins are going to be so much more popular than the Zamazenta tins. Like, hilariously so. That's going to be a slight issue. Having said that, a lot of the time there are 3 different options, not 2, so there is going to be a bit more than there would usually be. Like the last little tins we got featured Rillaboom, Inteleon, and Cinderace. These tins only having 2 different options rather than 3 means there are going to be more Zacian to go round. So that's quite nice. Now, I suppose at this stage we should say that we've only got on a sell sheet. We haven't gotten images of the tins. There is a possibility that it is a new Zacian V and a new Zamazenta V. Now they're coming out on May the 22nd. I have neither seen nor heard of another Zacian or Zamazenta V. They've not been featured in more recent Japanese sets. I've heard no whispers of them. It remains a theoretical possibility that it could be a different Zacian and Zamazenta V, but it's blatantly going to be an alternate art versions of the ones we've already had. I feel extremely confident in that prediction. So Zacian then, just genuinely one of the best cards we've got right now. The ability lets you draw 3 cards, but any of them that are metal energy you can attach to it. So firstly, you've got energy acceleration, but secondly, you can, on the first turn of the game, remember, you're not allowed to attack, you're not allowed to play a supporter card. So just having a Zacian drawing 3 is good. The ability ends your turn, but if you can't attack anyway, who cares if it ends your turn? Plus you got the attack for free energy that does 230, and between the ability and Metal Saucer, you probably won't be struggling too much to actually get this up and rolling. It is a phenomenal card. It's good as a more defensive deck with Lucario and Melmetal. It's good in a more aggressive deck with Arceus and Dialga and Palkia. One of the things that terrifies me as a deck builder when it comes to Zacian is that there's no easy counter. Because you've got Metal Frying Pan to take away your weakness, and you've only got a little bit less HP than a tag team, but you only give up 2 prizes, and the fact that you can use ADP to take 2 prizes off a single prize Pokemon, you're probably going to win the prize exchange against a lot of non-GXs, non-V, single prize Pokemon, because you get going a little bit faster than your opponent does, and you're not being hit for weakness. This might be the hardest counter to Pokemon we've had in an extremely long time. As for Zamazenta, I'm not going to pretend for a second that Zamazenta is in the same league as Zacian now. Now, to be clear, I like Zamazenta. I think it's a good card, and I do think at some point it's going to end up seeing a fair amount of play. The ability makes it immune to Pokemon VMAXs, so although it's not amazing at the moment, if stuff like Snorlax VMAX and Morpeko VMAX get a little bit better, there is every possibility that Zamazenta becomes a really useful tech against these VMAXs. The attack doing free energy, 130, discard a special energy is fine, not spectacular, but Zamazenta is one of those cards that's always hanging around in the background. It's unlikely to be particularly great in the short term, but all we need is a couple of VMAXs to become really over the top good, and all of a sudden it's going to be one of the best cards in the format, which is quite nice. Now, moving over to the other products, I told you about these new decks which are going to be coming out, these pre-built decks, literally yesterday. And I told you that we don't have a huge amount of information about them. Well, they're League Battle decks, and we now do have a bunch of information. We already knew you were going to get a 60-card deck including 3 GXs, a deck box, 2 acrylic condition markers, an acrylic tag team GX marker, 6 damage counter dice, a competition legal coin flip die, a rule book, a code card. None of this is particularly exciting. What's exciting is that we've had confirmation that they will be featuring Reshiram and Charizard, and Pikachu and Zekrom. Oh, yeah, they're also really good. To be blunt, right, at the moment, the top 4 really attacking Pokemon we've got are these 2 tag teams, Zacian and Mewtwo and Mew. Worth pointing out that Mewtwo and Mew was previously featured in a tin, so we've now had all of them as promos. It is actually also quite interesting to note that Pikachu and Zekrom was featured in a tin previously as well. As with a lot of these, you need to try and be as quick as you can with these, because the problem is these tins go out of stock fairly quickly, so you've got to be a little bit careful and a little bit quick off the bat to actually find them. But make no mistake about it, Pokemon are really going over the top to give us these brilliant cards as promos to make them easier. And the thing is, these decks are going to be quite difficult to get in a few months' time, but if you jump on when they're released, and again they're due for release on the 22nd of May, if you go and try and get these on the weekend they're released or thereabouts, you should be able to find them fairly easily. Just don't hang around too much, they are fantastic. Now, here's a description we've been given. Flames dance and thunder crashes at your command when you have a League Battle deck on your side. Each deck is loaded with power cards and major Pokemon, all the better to set up your game into the big time. In this complete deck, you'll find 3 Pokemon GX and a full set of supporting accessories for a serious Pokemon TCG battle. They are cool. Now, they are likely to also have really good supporters, etc., like we saw in the Battle Arena decks previously. I'm not going to go into great detail about these. What I will do is I will link a video in the description where I go through those decks so you can see how good they were. Now, we do not have great images of the contents, but our lovely friend Primal Lugia has gone and given us a slightly sharper image, and we can see that the Reshiram and Charizard gives you 2 copies of Reshiram and Charizard, and 1 copy of Charizard and Breaksin, which is kind of cool. Now, Reshiram and Charizard is clearly the best one here. It just does 4 energy, 230. It's amazing. For 6 energy, the GX attack will do 300 and go through anything, which can be extremely useful. And Outrage for 2 energy, actually doing a base 30 damage plus as much as is on it is good if your opponent's trying to whittle you down. It's just a really good Pokemon. Clearly it's great because of Welder allowing you to attach 2 energy and draw 3 cards. I feel confident that we will see this deck having Welder in. Can't promise you, not seen the contents of the deck, but given that these decks are designed to try and give you a leg up in a competitive format, so you can actually make proper competitive decks, it would seem weird to give you Reshiram and Charizard and not chuck some Welder in there. As for Charizard and Breaks In, it's not as good, but it's a really good one-of in Reshiram and Charizard decks, and they give you a one-of here. 4 energy, 180, search your deck for any free cards and put them in your hand is a really good attack. The GX attack is fine. 1 fire energy, attach 5 basic energy from your discard to your Pokemon in any way you like. If you have a second energy on there, your opponent's active Pokemon is burned and confused. It's not stunning, but actually if you can accelerate energy and slow your opponent down, that's going to be helpful. As for the Pikachu and Zekrom deck, you do get 2 copies of Pikachu and Zekrom, which is awesome because that's the better one. And then you get 1 copy of Raichu and the Alolan Raichu. Again, they've got these the right way round. We want 1 Raichu and Alolan Raichu, 2 Pikachu and Zekrom. Now, Pikachu and Zekrom's got the phenomenal full blitz attack, does 150 damage, search for free lightning energy and attach them however you like, and a GX attack that does 200 for free energy, or 200 to the active, 170 to one of your opponent's bench for 6 energy. Of course, you use full blitz to actually get the second attack rolling with a 6 energy. Raichu and Alolan Raichu's GX attack is not quite as good. Free energy, 150, switch to the bench. If you've got 2 extra energy, you do 250 and switch to the bench. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. The better attack is free energy, 80 damage. If you became active this turn from the bench, you do 160 plus automatic paralysis. The real question for me is going to be whether this deck comes with Thunder Mountain Prism Star and Tapu Koko Prism Star. The combination of those 2 cards, Thunder Mountain to reduce your attack cost and Tapu Koko to accelerate energy, really is what makes these lightning decks good. It turns free energy attacks into, ooh, I can pay this in 1 turn attacks. And both Pikachu and Zekrom and Raichu and Alolan Raichu benefit from this. And the decks will be significantly weaker. Certainly having Welder in the fire deck here is all you really need to give it the speed, although cards like Giant Half and Fire Crystal to get the energy out of the deck and discard pile respectively will go a long way. But with lightning decks you need the Thunder Mountain and the Tapu Koko to get the 1 turn attack, so it's going to be extremely interesting to me to see whether this is something they actually do or not. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I am psyched about these decks and you should be too. Pokemon have basically turned around and gone, look, we know what cards are good. We are literally giving you 3 of the 4 best attackers, the core Pokemon from 3 of the 4 best decks in the game right now, as easy to get promos. And I know we're not giving you the 4th one, but do remember we did give you that in a tin previously, so you probably can't be too mad. This is awesome. We should all be hyped. Go team. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's good times. But I'd like to know how excited you are. I'd like to know which ones of these you're going to buy. I'd like to know what you think about all this. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.